Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Firehouse in beautiful downtown North Manchester. It's Good Night with Christopher Blue. Put your hands together for our host, Christopher Blue!
Hello, and welcome to Good Night with Christopher Blue. I'm Christopher Blue, and we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Thursday nights are some of my favorite nights. We usually get to pull someone on here and talk about something awesome that they do. In this case, we are bringing up a charity that works out of Indianapolis, Indiana. So without further ado, I introduce you Tag Griffin and Hearts in Hand. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Hey, I watched your episode yesterday. You
Yep.
are a Bop It champion, man.
I am a Bop It champion, and don't you forget it, Reverb. Anyway, so Tag Griffin, I know your name because I talked to you online. You two have introduced yourselves to me, but my brain is mush. So, please.
I'm Gina.
Gina and
I'm Mandy.
Mandy? Gina and Mandy. I will try not to forget, but no promises.
I forget on occasion.
Now, Tag, already I tried to go off script, but I should probably stick to the script at first here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, Tag is my initials.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, my real name is Thomas Anthony Griffin.
Okay.
I choose Tag because our friends on the street are going to run into all kinds of Thomases, Tonys, Anthonys. They're not going to run into very many tags.
Yeah.
So that way they remember the name, and when they're looking for someone, they can say, hey, we need to find Tag. So.
What's great is I genuinely did not know that, and I love learning things on this show. So that's awesome. And tell us a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. Look at that. So I've invited you onto the show because you are doing some amazing work. Can you, or pass it off to one of the ladies, tell us a bit about the work you guys are doing?
Well, I run a place called Hearts in Hand Homeless Outreach. What we do is we go out and serve the homeless. Our friends outside is what we call them. We don't call them homeless people, except for when we're explaining it to pretty much uneducated people.
Yep.
Because they don't understand what our friends outside are.
Right.
So that way they understand a little better. What we do is we provide them with any kind of hygiene, clothing, socks, tents, blankets, jackets, whatever they're in need to. Every week, Gina cooks. We'll let them talk about that here in just a second. But we do this on a weekly basis every Saturday during the week. We help out when we can. When someone hits us up on Facebook or Messenger and says, hey, we really need this. Like right now, we have a lady friend who just got into housing. And she has absolutely nothing. So out in our Facebook, we've posted that we need everything for someone to live inside. So, and that's our goal for this week. And I mean, and until we get her what she needs, that's what we'll be helping with.
That's wonderful. Now, which one does the cooking?
That would be me.
Yeah, you're going to want to eat that microphone. It's okay. So what do you typically like to cook? What's easiest to cook when you're cooking for the masses?
I like to cook one-pot meals. I'll make it's not spaghetti because I don't like to cook spaghetti noodles on that big of a scale because I've tried to do that once and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But I'll do like a gumbo. I'll do
Gumbo?
like chicken and rice.
Ooh.
I call it beef and noodles. It's not your typical beef and noodles, but it's more of a creamy. A taco macaroni and cheese. That's one of the favorite ones because it's easy to fix. It still takes me all day, but I can get it done relatively quick. 4 or 5 hours to make a meal that'll feed 125 people. You know that it's.
Well, I'll have to know when you're doing chicken and rice, and I'll volunteer on that night. That sounds delicious.
Okay.
That's delicious. And Mandy, right? Ha ha. What was it that you helped out with?
I sit in the back of the van and I make all the trays. So I put her one pot meal into a compartment, then usually it's bread and cookies. Sometimes there's other items too.
Bananas.
Lately it's been a lot of bananas every week. We've gotten that for them. So I try to cram all that into the tray and somehow keep it closed and pass it forward to actually.
And then she
go
also goes around with me through the week and picks up the
Yeah.
donations and helps me keep that organized, helps me plan what I'm going to cook this coming weekend, although I did just plan that while we were sitting here
We're
tonight
terrible
without
about
you.
making a post on what we need.
I want to expand a little bit on what they just said. Gina starts cooking around noon. We start serving between 6:30 and 7 p.m. in the evening because that's how long it takes to cook for that many people.
Right.
Mandy says she hands out the trays. Okay, well, what we do, we don't make up the trays and hand them out. We actually have a container that we have the hot
dish
food
as
in.
we go, so it stays
Yes,
hot.
that way it stays hot for our friends. The first person's meal is hot. The last person's meal is at least warm and not cold because it's been sitting in a styrofoam container or a biodegradable container, because we do use those as well. They just get soft real easily.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when she says she hands out the trays, there's a little more involved than, here you go.
I love that, and I try to be the same way, that you definitely want to make sure everyone on your team is valued and that their work is shown to be valuable.
Hearts in Hand would not be in existence without them. I'm just the middleman. I connect people to people. I find the things that people need. We get them out to them. We have a place called the Meat Shop of Indianapolis. They are located off of High School.
High school in Washington.
High School in Washington on the west side of Indianapolis. Every week, faithfully, they donate 40 pounds of hamburger and 40 pounds of chicken to us every week. They don't ask anything in return.
For the last 4.5 years.
Yes, since August of 2017, they've been doing this with us.
They continued giving us that even throughout the pandemic, like when it first started.
Yes.
They didn't miss a beat. Every week.
During the pandemic, we even served an extra day to help out one of the other organizations that serve our friends outside.
At the beginning of the pandemic.
That's amazing. Now, I definitely want to talk more about the actual work you guys do in a minute, but how did you come up with the name Hearts in Hand?
Well, okay. I also seen on your last episode you were talking about trolls.
2 episodes ago. But
Two episodes, yes. Okay. I've watched all week so far, so I don't remember which one. And I can't believe you let Reverb beat you on the donut contest.
Yeah.
However, anyway, back to my
food
comment.
Challenges are not my thing.
I've got a big belly. It is mine. I can't beat Joey Chestnut, though. Back to the troll part. We posted that we did this on Facebook, and of course, we have a Facebook group that I created. And we had a lot of people, negative Nellies, I guess you could say, go on there and say, oh, you're just enabling them, you're not helping them at all, blah, blah, blah. And this one guy was real adamant about that. He owns his own mechanical shop. And we are a non-faith-based outreach. That way I can be as ad-libbing as I want to be on our group. And I gave him some words. And I also told him, look, if you ever lose your job, don't worry. We'll serve you too. But he said, we enable. I said, yes, of course we do. We enable them to take a shower. We enable them to change clothes. We enable them to have a fresh pair of socks. We enable them to have a warm coat. Have a full belly. Yes,
And
we
someone
are
that
enablers.
cares.
Yes, we
Everybody
enable them to have
deserves
a
to eat.
voice to talk to. So I said, yes, we are the enablers. So our original group was called the Enablers, Homeless Outreach. Well, I have a friend that is extremely knowledgeable and involved in several different groups that I wanted to be involved in our group. And because of his situation with other organizations, he could not be involved in a group called the Enablers. So I said, okay. And I reached out to our volunteers. And I said, we need to find a more appropriate name for our group. And we had a couple different suggestions, and it was rolling on my mind. And we had some good suggestions, don't get me wrong. But eventually I said, look, I mean, you guys have great suggestions, but I have this stuck in my head, Hearts in Hand. And everybody was like, go with it. So then that's how we officially became Hearts in Hand Homeless Outreach.
I love that story. That's great. Just starting off at a point where, you know, You're almost taking a name in spite of something.
And that's why I did it. That's why I did it.
And then evolving to something.
I know you're family friendly, so I will just say I'm a smart aleck.
Okay.
Okay? and when people come at me crossed, I'll cross right back.
Well, we need people like that in this world for sure. So dedicated viewers of the show know that I do a lot of charity work. I've been to Indianapolis a couple of times. The number of unhoused people is staggering. And it seems like it's impossible to reach everyone. Is that a discouraging feeling to you? And if so, what keeps you from feeling like you are just fighting a losing battle? And to clarify, I'm asking because I tend to struggle with that from time to time.
Well, to start off, in Marion County alone, and I believe this may very well just be Indianapolis, there are 14,000 unhoused individuals. There's a thing called a pit count that they do all across the country once a year, and they do it during the wintertime. And it usually tells you about 10% of the people that is actually unhoused. This year was right around 1,400 people.
Wow.
So you multiply that by 10 and you get the true number of houseless people in your city or your county. Discouraged? Yes, I do on occasion. It's not real easy because what gets me over that is the fact that I know I'm helping, and I know I will never, you will never, Reverb will never, Captain
Dusk Citizen
Dusk
from Tuesday's
Citizen,
episode, yeah.
He will never be able to end homelessness. All I know is that we can help someone's problem.
Make them feel a little more comfortable
Yes.
in an uncomfortable situation.
Yes, and if you notice, when I'm talking about our friends eating our meals, you notice I don't say we feed the homeless.
Right.
You feed an animal. You feed a baby because they can't do that. A grown-up, you serve them a meal. So that's why you hear me saying we serve the homeless. We don't feed them.
They correct the homeless when they
Yeah,
say, when are you feeding this week? Oh, well, we will be serving on Saturday.
Yeah, or I'll tell them, I said, we don't feed, we serve.
You know,
It gives them more dignity.
Sometimes they need one person to not give up on them. You know, all three of us are in recovery ourselves, and that's one of the reasons too why we do this. But I know that in my darkest of days, I needed one person that wasn't going to give up on me. But I also needed that tough love from my family, including her. She stopped talking to me for a while when I was drinking. And once I got sober, now we see each other every single day. She's literally my best friend.
Yeah, we kind of jumped past your first question about a little bit about me. I'm going to talk a little bit about them as well. Mandy, you're how many years sober from alcohol now?
7.5 years, December 23rd, 2014. Thank you
She's
very
a
much.
recovered
Thank
addict.
you.
I'll let Gina tell you if you choose to.
I've been in recovery from opiate addiction. It'll be 5 years, the 21st of this month.
That is also me as well. She has 1 week longer than I do with opiates.
Wow.
Which is another reason why this helps to keep us sober, because now, I mean, not that we didn't have people that depended on us before, but now, like, I've got 100 people that are depending on me for their belly to be full at least once a week. I got people that are depending on me to be able to call me up and say, hey, a lot of them call me mama, and they'll, hey mama, I'm struggling, like I'm really wanting to go get high. And I mean, I may not have all the answers, but I can listen to you and I understand where you're coming from because I've been there. I've been on the streets. I've been addicted to drugs. And I want to, I don't want somebody to feel like I did then, so I want to help them.
For the people that don't use, like they don't full on understand like what the addict is actually going through. So to have somebody that's been there, that's really been through what you're trying to come out of, I think that is a good connection to have with somebody to try to help them.
I am recovered from cocaine. I had a cocaine addiction. In 2012, I was spending 2.5 years in a federal prison camp in Marion, Illinois. And I tell everybody, including the police that I see, I thank them for their service, first of all, because they have a thankless job unless you need them. If it wasn't for the handcuffs, I would probably be dead today. My addiction was bad enough. Right now I weigh 245 pounds. At the height of my addiction, I weighed 178. Wow. And after I got clean, the weight came back on, which I'm all right with. I know I'm old, I know I'm fat, and I know I'm out of shape. But yes, we are all recovered. There are 2 other
Including
people.
the other 2 people that go out with us on Saturday
Yes.
nights.
They both are recovered addicts of some substance or another. They are not here, so we are not going to talk about it.
You're not gonna bring up the name of their.
No, we don't have to,
Okay.
to talk about it. But thank you guys so much for doing what you do, for turning your lives around. I know that's not an easy thing to do. And so just one more round of applause for
Thank you.
that alone. Lastly, where can people go to see what Hearts in Hand is up to?
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. And possibly learn how they can help your cause.
I have a bad habit of jumping in quicker before I question things.
That's okay.
I do it to my wife too.
I'm like, no, that's not at all what I was asking you. If you would
Yeah.
shut up for a second, you would hear what I'm asking.
She is not lying there. I recently started taping for TikTok on occasion. Obviously, there's more stuff on there than just our outreach because it's my personal page. It's tag Griffin0. But on Facebook, we have a Facebook group. It's called Hearts in Hand Homeless Outreach. The back of the logo is a hand holding a heart shape of little hearts in it, and a couple hearts floating around. But that is our Facebook group.
Make sure it's the group and not the page, because the page was made accidentally and we can't get rid of it somehow. It just won't disappear.
Yes. So we actually,
We're always having something drive around. It's crazy.
we respond on our group daily. I am constantly on there. Gina's on there. Mandy's on there. So if somebody reaches out, and as far as donations go, send us a message. Try to make a post. Join our group. It is private. Let us know that you've seen us on this show and that you would like to join the group.
Because we try to keep our approvals to local unless we know where they came from. Like,
Right,
you know.
because there's too many spammers.
Yeah.
But monetary donations we gladly accept. There is a pinned post on the group that shows our PayPal. I don't know if our Cash App and our Venmo is tagged onto that as well. But if someone needs that information, we can get that to them. Other than that, there's not really any other way.
Well, the links to your TikTok and Facebook page or group will be in the
Yes,
description
not the
of this
page.
video. The group, not the page. They'll be in the description. Thank you guys so much for what you do, and thank you for coming on the show. It was great talking to
It's
you.
a pleasure, and hopefully sometime you can come out with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's our show. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified whenever we upload new content. Until next time, good night, my sweet baby angels. I'll see you tomorrow.